Fear, and what personally scares you, is a very subjective thing. Two people could watch the same movie, read the same book, or play the same game, and the effect it has on each of them would be completely different. With that being said, I believe Resident Evil Remake to not only be the scariest game in the series, but also one of the scariest games of all time. From its insanely dense atmosphere to its pants-pissing frights, it creates one of the most tense horror games of all time, while it also still being super fun to play. So today, for a Halloween special, we'll be looking at the fear of Resident Evil and what makes this game so damn scary. Resident Evil 1 is a very intricate puzzle, so to find out what makes it work so well, we're gonna have to look at it one piece at a time. And one of the most vital pieces is its dreaded control scheme, tank controls. This now unconventional control scheme makes it so your character's full range of motion is limited. The game controls like a tank. When walking forward, you can only slightly turn to your left or right. Instead, if you want more controlled turning, you gotta stand still. You can also only aim and shoot while standing still. All of this together really does slow down the pace of gameplay, you having to be sure of your actions before making them, because if you're not, it could be a fatal mistake. The controls do more than just change the pace of gameplay though. Because of the unconventional and kinda clunky way the controls work, if you're new to tank controls, it can lead to moments straight out of a horror movie where a character freezes up and forgets how to act in a time of crisis. You might forget the right button to shoot or run in a moment where the game's putting pressure on you, leading you to get hit in a moment where you normally would have been fine. But this almost psychological way the game's controls mess with you was common of horror games at the time. Being a more broad element or not, it's still super important to this game. But let's look at something a little bit more unique that this game has to offer. Resident Evil 1 functions on a large set of rules, each one adding onto each other, truly creating this unique survival horror experience. But none of this would be able to work without the graphics and atmosphere of the game. And oh my god, it's so beautiful, to a killer degree. All of the environments are so heavily detailed, giving such a dense and realistic look to everything. The way candles blow in the wind or your character reflects on almost every surface they can, all leading to such an immersive visual experience. I swear to God, it's not funny how many times I got jump scared by my own reflection in this game. The visuals really do help create this environment, it feeling so real and haunting exploring these halls. But what's honestly even more impressive is the sound design of the game. The game's sound is really minimal, there usually not being any music in the background, sticking to just sound effects. The way you hear your footsteps change based off whatever you're walking on, or the way the dead silence will be broken by the sound of thunder, or even the groan of a nearby monster. Everything is very low-key, but on point, except for the dogs making monkey sounds for some reason when you shoot them. I don't know, it's weird. The blend of visuals and audio is so masterful, and playing this game in the dark with headphones on is so damn immersive, it's insane. All of this really does come together to create an environment that's super unnerving to explore. Even just walking around this place is terrifying enough, not even talking about what lurks in the shadows of these dark halls. The main thing you'll be doing during the game is exploring this mansion and trying to figure out what's truly going on here. Your inventory space is super limited, so you must bring with you only what you need, not what you want. If you have too much with you, you're probably going to have to trek back to an item box to put away some junk before you can go and grab anything you need for progression. But uh-oh, this opens up even more issues. For you though, not for the game. On one hand, the game is able to keep you slow and the tension high by all the doors. Doors. Door. So many doors. These spooky ass doors serve a dual purpose. One is a loading screen, and the other is to build the tension, while keeping the player in this environment grounded. And these door animations aren't short either. Whenever you go anywhere, you're gonna have to watch one. While being kind of annoying, they build the tension like nothing I've seen in a game before. As with most things truly terrifying about this game, you really do have to be playing to honestly feel the fear. The game gets into your head, and these doors are a huge contributor. Knowing anything could be waiting behind each one, expecting the worst, fear builds in your heart as you wait for the animation to finish and the game to load. You genuinely never feel safe. But Back to where the doors are an issue for running back to an item box. All these doors in your way make running back kind of a chore, which is just another one of this game's genius tricks. If you're new to the game, you're likely to get impatient waiting for all these doors, leading to you trying to blaze through these halls and eventually making a fatal mistake because of it. On the other hand, your lack of masterful inventory management, which is why we have to run back to an item box in the first place, means now we're gonna have to deal with the monsters in this mansion. The game's main enemy type, the spooky zombie, aren't much of an issue when it comes to their speed, but they serve as an excellent roadblock. When you get close, they'll lunge and grab at you, dealing massive damage. So you're once again given another choice, with punishments and rewards for both approaches. On one hand, you can run past the zombies, but if you're still new to the tank controls or you're just not that good at them, you're likely to get a bite taken out of you on the way. And even if you do safely make it past the zombie, you'll have to repeat this process every time you walk through this area, in which at that point, the odds are against you for never taking any damage. If you decide to take the fight approach instead of the flight, now you gotta worry about your ammo and positioning. Throughout the game, you're not given enough ammo to take down every zombie you see, so assuming you have the needed ammo on you, which takes up an inventory space alongside your gun, which is the thing that caused this issue in the first place. Zombies won't go down easy, usually taking around 7 or more shots to kill. And on the other hand, you gotta make sure you're positioned far enough away from the zombie while still being able to see it, which is easier said than done because of the fixed camera angles, which I haven't even brought up yet. You're gonna want to make sure the zombie goes down before reaching you, for obvious reasons. But once again, easier said than done because of how long repositioning takes. You also gotta factor in the manor's tight hallways, the game's controls, and remember, you can't move while shooting. Okay, but here's where things really get fucked. If you successfully take down that zombie but didn't kill it with a headshot, which is incredibly likely unless you are using a shotgun, which you wouldn't be wasting your precious shotgun ammo on a regular zombie. Now you're gonna need to use some kerosene and a lighter to burn their body. Each of those items once again taking up an inventory space of their own, and also the fact that kerosene is an extremely limited resource as well. And if you don't do this, then the zombie will become a Crimson Head, a superpowered version of its previous self that's way faster, stronger, and durable. The only upside to this being is once you defeat them in Crimson Head form, they'll stay dead for real. Both choices, rather trying to run past or fight, have their ups and downs, neither choice being objectively wrong or right, even if one is way more convenient than the other. This isn't the only time the game will have you make a choice like this either. It's constantly finding new ways to reinvent similar problems, making it hard to ever feel at rest, while also always making you at the edge of your seat. The narrative is also structured in a similar way. Based off the character you choose and the order in which you do events, things are constantly changing, leading to really fun replays as you try to chase that perfect run, narratively and from a gameplay perspective. Okay, let's say you finally make it back to that item box, and now you're in one of the game's rare calming moments, a save room. These rooms act as a way to break up the impending dread, ensuring that nothing will go wrong while you're in one of them. You can manage your inventory with one of those item boxes, or save your game with a typewriter. You're accompanied with some relaxing music, and it's generally a really nice time. But even here, you're not safe from the game's trap that it's laying. Alongside the stress that comes with inventory management, you also gotta worry about an ink ribbon. Ink ribbons are a limited resource, like everything else in this game, that you need to use if you want to save your game. With saves being limited, just like ammo, you gotta decide when it would be most effective to use one of these and save your progress. Either way, the game's the only real winner. If you do save your game, it'll cause you stress later on that you won't be able to save when it's more important. And if you don't save, then you're always gonna be even more stressed out about death, because you know how much progress you'll lose when it eventually comes for you. And it'll be all your damn fault, because you could have saved, but you chose not to. To me, the only real breath of fresh air you'll be getting while playing this game is the narrative. The game's very oppressive and drowning in a way with how its gameplay and atmosphere is, but I would say that's balanced out really well with more fun moments. Everything is super camp, while also being interesting. Whenever a cutscene would play, it would always feel like the only real time I could relax. knowing I would get to see these characters I love say some funny shit or have a comedically awkward and stilted conversation.
Yeah, I know. We got separated.
I see. Anyway, we better find a way out of here before we turn into zombie food.
Everything is so aggressively charming and also really memorable. I would say the final piece to this game's puzzle is the environment itself, Spencer Mansion. It's not often a game will set you in a single environment and keep you there for the whole game, but I'm damn glad this game does because this mansion is incredible. The place is huge, with each room being distinct and memorable. As I brought up earlier, the visuals and audio make the mansion a spooky treat to explore, but also the layout and design of this place is so genius. The way progression works is always entertaining, keeping the player's interest with what's currently being presented, while also making you excited and a little bit terrified of whatever's next. Be it a new puzzle, grandiose hall to explore, or maybe even something more sinister. This place is so terrifying with how deep it all goes. I've always had a fear of depths, and somehow this game is able to capture that fear perfectly in game form. The deeper and deeper you go into this place, a bigger knot in my stomach only continued to form. In no game other than Resident Evil has been able to capture that feeling. The layout of the place paired with the game's fixed camera angles, only showing you exactly what the game wants you to see, created some environments that genuinely froze me in place when I first played the game, being almost too terrified to walk forward and see what awaits me in this hellish mansion. All of this game's many aspects and mechanics work together to enhance each and every element of it all, and that is where the fear of this game's at. Everything works together perfectly to create a uniquely frightening experience, and that's all without bringing up any of the game's many truly terrifying handcrafted scares. The way the game stacks everything against you can definitely create an entry barrier for new players, mainly because the controls, all the doors, and the way the inventory works. But it was all intentional and all very necessary for this truly frightening survival horror experience. So if you're a fan of horror and somehow haven't played Resident Evil, buy a copy, don't wait for a remake, and enter the survival horror of one of the scariest games of all time.